Welcome to Michael Cole Live. This is Thursday night. This is our 13th conversation. We've had a few hundred of conversations in search of awesome people doing well behind the chair. But now the newer conversation is not only are you doing well behind the chair and making, we'll call it a six-figure income, but you're well on your way to becoming a seven-figure net worth or seven-figure millionaire Jedi. And we have somebody in the house, Katherine Bennett from Anastasia's Salon in Portland, Oregon. My friend and peer, Katie West, probably texted me about a month ago and said, Michael, there's somebody there that's just doing some extraordinary things. And I began the conversation and said, yep. So I invited her to be with us tonight. Let me tell you a little bit about her before we bring her up. 30 on the front end of 30-something, level 6A, and Anastasia. So she's blowing it up. She's been on an extraordinary ride with her income. 2019 was 70, and then 72 in 2020 and COVID being shut down. I mean, just a lot of stuff going on, especially out west. So I think that's phenomenal. She is trending. I mean, look at that jump, you guys, like from 72 to 130. I haven't seen one of those. Well, I don't think I've seen one of those before. So I'm going to have to call up Guinness Book of World Records tonight and say, I think I got another one for the books for you. She's as conscious now as she'll tell you about how she's handling her money as she is about how much she's making. So she's got a great start in a long-term saving about 25. And I think her rhythm is a couple of grand a month. So, now that you guys are using our calculators, I've started to do some screenshots. She's, in any given month, she's crushing 20. Her weekly goal is around 5-ish. She's well into 4 digits on her daily goal. Her average ticket is way into triple digit. And no, wait, there's more. We did a little bit of calculation. She's on a 17-year track. She's 30-something now. And a 17-year track where she will crack and cross over from a six-figure net worth to seven-figure. We call it the land of milk and honey, or behind the chair millionaire. So she's blowing it up big time. I want you to begin to follow her because her on Instagram, her Instagram page is nothing short of off the charts. It's styling by Katherine. So we'll chat about that a little bit tonight. She's in my green room, so I'm going to go and get her. And then we're going to get her talking about her story. It's got an amazing story. And then I'm going to see if I can get her to share a little bit of her secret sauce. So stay tuned. Let's see if she's back there. Yes, there she is. I'm going to unmute her. And you're going to make her feel nice and welcome, you guys. Woo! Thanks for coming on.
Hey.
Hey, I forgot to ask you, what's your relationship with Katie West? Why was she so darn stoked to blow in my ear and say you have to chat with Katherine?
I found Katie West. I was watching one of your lives, and she was on it talking about virtual consultations. So you'll see that on my profile too. I DM'd her. I said, I'm going to borrow all of your verbiage until I find my own. So yeah, she helped grow my business a lot just by little things like that. So I found her through you.
Oh, wow. So that's where, when I look on your Instagram page, that's why I want you to follow her, you guys, because she is actually promoting virtual consultation. So I can see you're like a prodigy of Katie's. Well, we always like to start, with the story, Katherine, because the story helps us to get to know you as a person and what your life was like before, whatever before was, and what inspired you to, number one, get in the business. How did you land in Anastasia, and how did you kind of get to the place where you pivoted? Catch us up to your life.
Yes, I went to a Beta Institute. My sister kind of prompted me to go to a cosmetology school. I had no idea what was coming for me post years, but I call him the boss man, but the owner of our salon, Luke Costetter, he would come into the school and teach business classes. at Aveda, and I really started to see what was going to be possible for a stylist. And I interviewed at the salon, and lucky me, I got the job. Had no idea where I was going, but I knew that had education and all the pieces of a salon that I wanted to be at. And I did the associate program. So I did 7 months under a top stylist at our salon and cranked through that, and then just went full time on the floor and drank all of the Summit Kool-Aid as much as I could possibly get. And, you grow through all the hard things and you just keep pushing to be better every day. And I think a big pivot happens. My big pivot happened when I started booking on a 45. We do one-on-ones every month to talk about how your business is growing and what's going on. And really, it was my timing that was slowing me down. So added a little education piece in and kind of cranked in. I do what I can do in 45 minutes. And if it's more than that, then that's a different service. And I just ninja book on that 45. So really timing and then charging properly.
So you said a whole bunch here. One, that you met Luke when you were still a student, and because he came into the school and really started coaching and mentoring on the business side of the art, that got your attention. You land in Anastasia. You're going through, their summit process, and as you're building, and then one of the first pivots in your career was behind the chair, where there's a way of booking yourself on the 45. You get way more leverage. So that was a big moment for you. It sounds like a big wake up.
Absolutely.
And then it's interesting. My friend Josh Howard, who is the Vish company, and he said that this is a great one of his favorites is Anastasia. I'm just curious. You and I didn't chat about Vish, but is that kind of fall into your life somewhere?
Yeah, absolutely. We use Vish to measure out every gram of color that we use. So and then we reweigh at the end to make sure that we're not wasting for the next time they come in, knowing that we only use a certain amount of grams versus what we mixed up. And then also, if we have to mix more, we let the guests know there's going to be a range at the end between where their ticket's going to sit when they go to check out. So you price quote and you say, you're going to be between $250 to $270, depending on if I need an extra gloss or a shadow root. Does that work for you?
Wow. So I know that one of your pieces of secret sauce was always around pricing right, charging what you're worth. And so it sounds like Vish is just one more digital tool to make that real clean. It kind of takes the fuzziness out of the pricing stuff.
Yes, that's totally correct.
Now, one of the things that we were chatting about as we were getting prepared for the conversation was the pivot behind the chair. One of the pivots was from booking on the 45. And there's some other things we'll chat about. But you made a pivot somewhere between, there's a lot of people making a lot of money, but they're not real conscious about what they're doing with their money they're making. So over time, they got a great life. I call it living large. But in terms of having something to show for the money that they're making, that's not true with you. That at a pretty, 30 is pretty young. And to be able to have what you have going, when did that happen? Or were you kind of like raised where you were kind of cut from that cloth and you've always been that way?
I always have enjoyed budgeting and managing money. I paid for my own braces growing up and paid for my own gymnastics lessons. So I always liked that entrepreneur hustle. That's always been in me. My dad owns his own business and my mom has a magical personality. So kind of kaboom, there I land. But yeah, I watched a lot of Dave Ramsey stuff and I knew that I just didn't want the weight of debt sitting on my shoulders. So I graduated from school and paid that off as soon as possible. And every time I'd get a raise, I just really started working on living below my means, like having the roof over my head, food, and a car to drive. Like those are the three things I need to survive. And when I got my raises, I could up my clothing spending budget, but I also will pay myself first. I'm always putting money back into savings, and that's going to me, not to anybody else. And that's, you have to pay yourself first is huge. And then surprise, all of a sudden you've saved all this money and you're every day you take a step and those steps create the path, and then here we go.
Well, you're on the very front end of 30, which is unusual that, and it's as I'm listening and learning from you, that paying yourself first was always a rhythm. And you said something real key. It's subtle, but it's profound. All of a sudden I'm saving. And then one day I kind of look at the pool and it's apparent that I see the money I'm in there, but I also am starting to see the growth on the money, and all of a sudden there's my money, and then there's this other money, whatever you want to call it, interest, growth. And that's for a lot of us that are on that rhythm, that's a very definable moment. How long were you saving before you had that moment?
I would say after I finished paying off my car loan, that was like 3 years ago, I had a little mini loan on that. Then I just kind of started going ham and putting money into savings. So I would say maybe a year and a half ago, I really saw it was possible. And kind of during COVID, I stopped all spending. I cut as much as I possibly could. And that was really fun. Just see it all pile up. I was like, wow, when you pay yourself first and you don't go buy all this random little incremental spending, really adds up. And so it's fun to kind of chop it all and have a game of how much you could save. And it kind of blows your mind. My mind is blown for sure. Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, as I'm listening to you, I'm learning from you. It's like, okay, first things first, I want to, I nuke the car debt. And then all of a sudden the money I was putting there, I'm adding that to whatever my saving rhythm is. And that goes up. And then all of a sudden I look, it sounds like you're 18 months, 24 months into it. And you start seeing, and all of a sudden there's an understanding that deepens in us, and it's like, okay, I get this now. Like how much ever I thought I understood it, no, I get this, and it kind of motivates us. But you can't have the experience until you start doing it, and a lot of people want to wait and get the experience before they're doing it, and it's like, well, you get to die broke.
No thanks.
Yeah, and then you told me you just you're in your apartment now, but you're getting ready to move into a house that you just bought. Tell us about that.
Yes, yeah, my husband and I just bought our first house, and that is just so special in Oregon. In the market, it's very intense. It's not hot market; it's a lava market. So being able to purchase a home feels like a massive accomplishment. And just such a huge blessing. I'm floored.
Yeah, I'm looking at you, and you're like, I could see you're lit up about it. It's like this is a big deal, a very big. It's a big milestone, right? So the other thing that comes up for me is, one of the things I used was the savings calc, because I wanted to get a sense as to what the rhythm of this, and based on that, if you just stayed on that rhythm, it looks like you're going to be on the front end of 40 something, or just this side of halfway through 40 something, and you're going to cross over from, you're going to go from 5 to 6 figures to a 7-figure net. I've done that now, and for enough people that's eye-opening. As I sent you that and you looked at it, what was your first impression when you looked at it?
You kind of don't know what's happening until it's there. I met with our financial advisor and kind of knew that was possible. But when you see it really laid out, you get real present to what life you're creating.
Yeah. And that presence unleashes more inspiration, more conviction, more commitment. So it's like it's nitroglycerin on the bonfire.
Oh, right? Yes. It's just like everything's kind of catapulting together.
Well, the other thing you were sharing with me is at some point under the guises of salon education, Luke brought in a financial planner, a consultant to really have the conversation, and that you were on the receiving end of your first one, and now a few of them. You're even plugged into the Dave Ramseys of the world. What was it like when the financial consultant or planner came in and had a conversation with your group of peers at Anastasia?
Well, it's really wonderful to be able to take control of what is happening in your life. People think that they are out of control of their money or out of control with their choices, but we all have a choice. And having somebody come in to give their wisdom. I'm a hairstylist, I'm great at hair. Doesn't mean I'm also crazy talented at money. So having a second brain to come in and step in and show you what's possible for your life is, so helpful.
So it just kind of solidifies and deepens the conviction that there's a science to this. As you master the science, you embrace the art of whatever you want to call it, making money, growing money, establishing wealth. You've moved a lot of, like there's been a lot of movement in the last 2 or 3 years. What I'm curious about, you just bought a new house. You're moving into, how is your life different now to where it was 36 months ago, 48 months ago? And how is that life changing you?
Yeah, I would say there weren't as many choices as I have now. I have the choice to buy my new cabinets for the kitchen we're remodeling now, and have a car that starts and drives and gets me to my friend's birthday party. Like, having the choices in your life it's very freeing and like mind blowing. So I just had no idea what was possible, and then when things start catapulting and rolling, that just feels amazing. Right, absolutely. Right, yeah.
Right, yeah. So one of the things that you and I were chatting about was, it's one thing to be on a trajectory where over time you're building some worth for yourself, but you and I know that to the degree that your income is growing, it speeds things up. So I'd like to spend a few minutes with you about your secret sauce behind the chair. What are you doing? Like, as you're growing your income? Like a year ago, you were here, and you're almost doubling that income now. What are you doing to grow the income that quickly? Like, what's some of your secret sauce?
Okay, I'm like, where do I start? There's so much. Charging properly for everything that you're doing. You're not giving discounts. You're on your 45. You do what you can do in that time frame. And making sure that, yes, you're charging exactly what you're worth in that time for what they're getting. If you're using 8 pumps of Olaplex, you better be charging for your 8 pumps of Olaplex, and and then making sure that you're booking a 45. I know that if I can get my ticket to sit between that 250 to 300 mark on an 8-hour day booked on a 45, that's going to put me at over $1,000 for the day. And I'm advertising on my social media the beautiful hair that I like to do that inspires me, and that makes me excited to go to work every day to do this insanely gorgeous hair and have fun in my chair. So, and these are higher ticket items, these balayage looks that I'm doing. This is not just, a basic situation. They're getting full meal deal celebrity treatments.
So you said we could do a whole book on what you just said in the last 2 minutes. And one was basically the way you're pricing and charging what you're worth. And that you said, I know for me to stay on this, my average ticket's got to hang between $250 and $300. So I have to be very, very conscious. Like you said, if I'm using 10 pumps of something, that whatever that something is, it's times 10. And I never want to let the money get in the way of charging, because that can be a big diff. The other thing I heard you say is, I call it a 4-figure day is the 11th commandment. So there's a difference between six to 700 a day versus 1,000, 1,100, 1,200. So you're saying, no, it's a 4-digit day.
Yeah, that's right? Where my dynamite's booming. I know if I hit that, then I am having good choices in my life and able to make good choices.
Yeah, I love it. So you're really, really, really awake around the money part. When I look at how you're branding yourself on Instagram, you and I were kind of hanging out on your page before. I'm looking, and I refer to you as a Bali Lama. These are $350 looks or tickets. And so as you have people coming in for this, now I get how you're able to mean, that's a very, very high average ticket. You start getting above 200 and you're getting there. So that's your secret sauce. Talk to me about virtual consultation. Where's that play into this?
Yes, virtual consultations are super helpful before people are coming in. Since I am booking on a 45, there's not a ton of time to go through and chat about what they want. I can do a consultation in that 10-minute mark and hit all the points and see the pictures and agree and price quote, and then you're mixing and applying fast because of all my education I've done. And so there's a lot combining there to make this 45-minute work. But with a virtual consultation, it sets the guests up for success. You get to give them a range of where their price is going to be sitting, so they're even more prepared to come in. You get to talk about product beforehand, to talk about at-home care and what they need to be able to maintain the look that they're getting. Especially when you're investing so much money in your hair, you need quality home care products. And so being able to set that up in a virtual consultation beforehand and prep them and have the photos of their hair now and what they want, it just makes everyone feel so much more comfortable. We already have vibed on Instagram, and then to get in our chair and it's like we already knew each other and we're rocking and rolling, ready to go.
Yeah. So just because I've spent a lot of time helping to engineer and craft, the virtual consultation, I know now it's not a mystery to me why you have guests coming in booked for a $250 to $300 experience, because that virtual happens before the guest shows up. And there's something about that experience that makes the guest feel more comfortable making the investment. Have you found that if you do a virtual on the front end, that it collapses time on your, what we would call traditional consultation when they're in the chair?
Yeah, absolutely. Because they sit down in my chair and I say, okay, I know we've chatted a little about Instagram. Let's revisit. Has anything changed? Does everything feel good? Are we still working on the same look? I'll kind of go over what we've already chatted about, because I will pre-read those messages before the day. I know that I already talked to Nicole Miller, and I'm going to read through our text real fast to play catch up, refresh the conversation beforehand. So prepping for your day, knowing what you're going to be, where you're going to be, and what you're doing at what time. You got to be on it.
How many virtual consultations would you do in a typical week?
I'm in a range between like 3 to 10, depending on what's rolling.
Right. Well, and because virtual consultations are so new, we can't like Google them yet, or right. What are you like when that happens in real time? Is it happening primarily through direct message, where somebody will send you a piece of content, and it could be off of your page, or a Pinterest page, and they send you a piece of a selfie, so to give you a sense as to where they're at, and then you're communicating with them direct message? A lot of people think it's, well, should I FaceTime? Should I Zoom? Should I?
Any of it, all the above, whichever. I tell my guests, and everyone knows that they can contact me any which way. If I'm sitting at home scrolling on Instagram, I might as well make a little bit of money while I'm doing it, So
right.
If they want to FaceTime, there's video calls on Instagram. You just hit the little video square at the top right. And so you can video chat right there. No, you don't have to have compatible phones for it. It's right through Instagram.
Oh my God. I'm loving this. You said more than you know when you said, if I'm at home at night swiping up on Instagram, I might as well be making some money.
Yes.
So you're really kind of engaging in virtual consultation. If they want to have a video chat, which is a feature on Instagram, great. You want to do some direct message, fine. You want to do a FaceTime, great. So you're saying that in any given week, if you did 10 virtuals, you might have a little bit of everything.
Yes. It's just whatever makes the guest feel most comfortable. And it comes down to your guest experience. That's that.
Right. Well, if I had to put, I'm interviewing you tonight, so I'm I'm thinking, boy, if I'm your agent, I'm saying you could teach a whole bunch of people about the art of virtual consultation, because it was it was non-existent before COVID. COVID didn't really disrupt the business. It kind of was a catalyst for new, and one of the new forms from COVID was virtual consultations. And it sounds like that's a very important piece of your chairside manor.
Spot on. Absolutely.
Well, I want you to promise me that you'll come back for an encore, because I think you're warming up, and I'd even like to ask if it's okay for me to check in with you. I think we're on to something where you whether you know it or not, between you and the Katie Wests of the world, you're like incubating this best practice model called virtual consultations. People are clueless as to how important that is, and you're going, no, that's the bomb. And then on your Instagram page, you've got online booking. So what percentage of your clients are using online to book with you?
We're looking at about 40% now.
Oh, my Lord. So 40% of your clients are using an online the online booking feature on their mobile. Are there any of them rebooking themselves when they're with you for their next one before they leave? Is that happening yet, or is that?
I have a few of them doing that, but I really should start trying. I did take on an associate back in February, so we're in month 3 now of rolling together. So she has been booking all of my people, and we give them the option: would you rather book online or set it up now? And I know that's not booking someone in their chair. It used to be something that was like kind of taboo to let them leave without an appointment. But I do follow-ups with people. If I haven't seen them in a while, I'll reach out. But for the most part, I mean, they're all coming back.
Yeah, you've got to promise to hang out with me when I'm on some of these Zooms, because I'm saying that once upon a time, rebooking and pre-booking were like 2 different words that were the same thing. And I'm going, no. When a client rebooks themselves, whether they're in the salon or not, online, and it doesn't mean that they have to call in and do this, and or you or your associate pre-books them, that both of those need to count in the metrics for a level jump under what we used to call rebooking. It's like there's two ways of getting that handled now, and it sounds like you're like talking to your clients and encouraging them to use that feature, because that's one less thing for you to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And then it gives you more time for, more guest experience and more people. And
I love it.
Everyone's more relaxed.
All right. So you're promising me I can reach out to you and text you and have you come and hang out on a private Zoom with me, or come back for an encore?
Let's do it. I love that.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Catherine. It was just a pleasure.
You.
Say hi to all my homies at Anastasia. Tell Luke and I have a Zoom call together next week. It's been forever since I've seen him or chatted with him. So tell him I said hi and love all you guys. And we're going to give it up for you one more time. And gratitude. Thank you for coming on. And keep making it.
Thank you. So fun.
Bye now. Oh my God, you guys, I had no idea that the conversation was going to get this rich with her. So, there was, and I loved how she was talking about, Vish is a digital tool that she's using to charge what she's worth. She knows that every guest lives somewhere. It's a minimum of $250 or $300 or more. That, the 11th commandment is I need to have 4-digit days. If you're going to get to a 6-figure W-2, this is a must. And she's working 3 days, you guys. So if I go back to on where she was on the digital, her goal is 130,000 this year, which means she's got to bring in 260, and she's doing it in 3 days. And so, it breaks down her month goal, week goal, day goal, her retail goal. But what I think is really interesting, she's doing 8 clients and her average ticket it's 208. She's saying, no, I need that closer to 250s. So she is in the game big time. She said her secret sauce is charging what she's worth. She's using Vish, so she goes over. If she's using more formula that she needs, it takes all the question, the confusion out of it. It's very, very clear. Taking care of her guests, paying attention to her booking, like that's big. And it's online booking. So I really want you to get, especially if you're, on any kind of level that you need to be mindful that anytime the guest is not using like calling on the phone and booking, but they're booking from their own mobile device, that is a rebook, and that counts under a metric that we used to call prebook. So the before COVID it's done now. There's two ways that a guest there's three ways that a guest gets booked. The old traditional way, I call it the dinosaur way. Two, the traditional pre-book, either you or your associate pre-books them, or when the guest is booking themselves, whether it's real time in the salon or after the fact, that counts on pre-books. That's huge, 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 huge. So you're going to really want to, that like went clunk for me tonight, big time. And she's building her wealth. She's paying herself first. She's saving $25,000 a year. So her gross income now is growing to 130. 25 of that, which is about $2,000, $2,200 a month. So she's going to be a millionaire before she's 45. I want you to wrap your mind around that. The guest experience is where the boom comes from. So she's hitting it on all cylinders. We could like turn just what the conversation of her tonight into a course in and of itself. So really, really, really happened tonight was off the freaking chart. So as we always do, I always express gratitude to L'Oreal, PPD, and now L'Oreal Salon Emotions. I love them to the moon because I'm powered by them, which means that they step up and give me sponsorship money so I can bring this conversation to you. I can bring all of the calcs to you. I can, if you've been following me on Zoominars, all of them now are compliments of L'Oreal. So thank you, L'Oreal Salon Emotion. These are the L'Oreal brands. Please, 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 please. If you're being prospered by things that we're bringing to you, this is how you say thank you. You don't just say thank you. This is awesome. This is great. No. Get committed to their brands. To the degree that you're committed to the brand, they're in a position to continue to grant me money for projects. It's like every year I go to the foundation and apply for the next grant to continue to bring this to you. So whether we're talking Pulp Riot, Biolage, Kerastase, Curology, L'Oreal Professional, Matrix, Shu Mazzani, Redken, of course. I just did a wonderful Zoominar for the Black Elite Salon. Some of you were in that conversation. Salon Emotion as well. So thanks, L'Oreal. Just a great conversation. We will pick up where we left off next week. Good evening. I got stoked from her. I really did learn a lot from Katherine Bennett. So let's give it up for her one more time.